Hi, welcome to lesson 12. We're going to be talking about careers, temperament, and abilities. It's very exciting to have reached the last lesson of module 1. I hope you've liked my Facebook page, Life and Destiny Palmistry, and Claim Your Power. Firstly, we will talk about the occupations and the elements. If you remember, that is fire, water, air, and earth. The first one we're going to talk about is the fire element. The extended palm and short finger suit careers where their enthusiasm and energy is valuable. For example, technician, teacher, artist, athlete, physical therapist, actor, or entertainer. A doctor, builder, construction manager, archaeologist, designer, entrepreneur, or salesperson is also good for the fire hand. Massage therapist, hairdresser, model, fitness leader, a producer, director, administrator, manager, civil engineer, mechanic, vet, paramedic, pilot. As you can see, there is a great variety of suitable occupations for the fire-shaped hand. The water hand, with its long fingers and long palm, is more sensitive. So careers that utilize that sensitivity and receptive nature are ideal. For example, artist, writer, poet, musician, dancer, photographer, visionary, psychic, an astrologer, psychologist, social worker, nurse, healer, dietitian, nutritionist, a model, fashion designer, beautician. It's also suitable for administration like clerical work, accountant, interior decorator, computer programmer, graphic designer, comedian, actor, salesperson as well, and a communications officer. The earth hand, with its square palm and short fingers, they have excellent practical traits. So careers suited for this type of hand, if it's a thick hand with thick palm and thick fingers and a square look to it, it would be someone like a landscape artist, woodworker, fisherman, carpenter, mechanic, a farmer, firefighter, locksmith, forester, labourer, driver, machine operator, military service, agriculture, construction worker, or mail carrier. If it's not a thick hand and it's relatively normal sized fingers but quite a small square palm, that would be suitable for different variety of careers like doctor, dentist, an engineer, pilot, police officer, architect, accountant, or a business owner, an electrician, nurse, movie producer, athlete, coach. There is so many varieties for the earth hand if it's not a thick hand. The air hand, with a square palm and long fingers, belongs to those who enjoy using their mental power, whether in a creative or business-like manner. Examples are writer, media worker, journalist, translator, publisher, actor, musician, songwriter, artist. Information technologist, computer programmer, digital producer, business owner, entrepreneur, engineer, geologist. Teacher, politician, public speaker, consultant, lawyer, scientist, financial advisor, jeweler, talk show host. And I say talk show host because usually the air hand, they also have a long pinky, the mercury finger, reaches well beyond the top phalange of the ring finger. So a long pinky shows somebody who is good with words. Temperament and abilities. Fine-tuning the elements to see the basic character for potential talent. First one we're going to talk about is honesty. Finding a trustworthy life partner or choosing the right staff for your business can be a difficult task, but one of the most vital characteristics of a partner or an employee would have to be honesty. No one wants to feel exploited. A business owner doesn't wish to hire someone who might steal or lie to benefit their own desires. Unfortunately, in most circumstances, when hiring staff, it's not possible to see the palms of a potential employee, but there are signs from the shape of their hands which may give clues. Shaking their hand will also give you a feel of their skin texture and consistency. The positive signs to look for are straight fingers and even phalanges. If you remember the section about the phalanges, so the length of the segments, and they should be approximately even. A firm handshake and dry skin. The first sign of a potentially deceitful nature is crooked fingers, as long as they're not distorted as a result of an accident or arthritis. When the mercury finger is curved inwards like a claw, it shows a natural liar. Someone with a very wasted thumb, so if it's thin looking in the middle and wider at the top, they may do anything to raise his or her status, including anything illegal. An even-shaped thumb is best, especially if they have a responsibility for your accounts. The fingertip and nail on the thumb are best if square-shaped. The Saturn finger needs to be of average length. A short finger of Saturn is a sign of someone who doesn't care much for rules and may prefer to socialize instead of getting the job done. A spongy or soggy feel to the palm can also depict dishonesty or plain laziness. Ambition and leadership. Managerial and executive qualities can be found mainly in the air or fire hand. So the square palm with the long fingers or the long palm with the short fingers. The fire shape is enthusiastic and energetic, while the air hand with its long fingers will have many great ideas, along with attention to detail and patience, whereas the fire hand will lack some of that patience. They will have the energy but will want to do things quickly. The first sign you would look for is the size of the thumb. A very thick thumb will show someone who's domineering. If the thumb is also bulbous at the tip, they will be aggressive. If the thumb is short, there may be a lack of drive or lack of intelligence. An average, thick or long thumb will suggest leadership and assertiveness. If the thumb is flexible, they are likely to be someone eager to please others. A stiff thumb shows more reliability and determination. The Jupiter and Saturn fingers should both be well developed in thickness and length. A long Jupiter finger suggests leadership, and a long, straight Saturn finger points to trustworthiness and responsibility. A gap at the base of the two shows organizational skill. The Jupiter mount should also be well developed, showing ambition. An extended mercury finger will depict genuine communication ability. The fingertip of a serious worker who's also practical will be square. Most of the fingernails should also be square or rectangle. The skin should be firm and springy. There will be at least one whorl circle-shaped fingerprint, mainly on the thumb, but also on Apollo, Jupiter, or Saturn. The headline and lifeline separated from each other will show a confident nature. We'll talk more about those lines in Module 2. Constructive and manual skills. Someone in this industry will obviously need energy and practical abilities, so the shape of the hand will mostly be earth or fire. The fingers will be neither thin nor chubby, but short, but stout and firm. The mouth should be well padded and dense, depicting vitality. Soft or flabby hands will represent laziness. A good team member will have a wide gap between the head and heart line, denoting an open mind and a sense of humour. The skin will be medium to coarse. Some qualities of ambition should be present, like the right-sized thumb, Jupiter finger, and mount. The thumb is expected to be long and fairly low set, much like this image that's got quite a big thumb and is quite low set. That is the hand of a construction worker who is also the leader of the team. If with square fingertips, they will take their work seriously. Round tips show someone easygoing, and spatula tips indicate good dexterity. Creativity and self-confidence. Creativity is a requirement for many kinds of jobs, not only artists and musicians, but also designers and engineers. Along with imaginative qualities, it will be important to look for signs of motivation and confidence as well. The hand shape of an artist will often be a water hand due to their unworldly, emotional and sensitive nature. However, an actual hands-on, energetic and driven artist will have a fire hand or a mix of both. The fingers will have round or conic tips, but the Apollo finger often has a spatula tip. Because the Apollo finger represents creativity, the spatulate on that finger shows the obsession with creativity. A square tip on any finger of an artist will give a steadfast mentality that helps them to achieve their goals and take it more seriously. The outside edge of the well-developed mount of moon will have a rounded appearance on the side of the palm. Whereas on this hand, it's not very rounded, it's quite straight. If the side of the palm is straight, it shows a more technical mind, someone who prefers to work with facts. An Apollo line is usually present alongside the Saturn line, and they would be lines that run up vertically to those fingers here. The thumb will be average to long with a rounded tip. A performing artist will have an extended mercury finger, so a long pinky for an actor or comedian. Healing ability. Healing ability covers a broad range of specialties that relate to the person's attitude towards people and animals. They are grounded and ardent people with compassion, resilience, and awareness. The shape of the hand will depend on the type of healing involved. A surgeon will often have a fire hand due to the stamina required in that nature of work. So a rectangle palm with shorter fingers. The fingerprint on most of the fingers of a surgeon is likely to be whorls in a circle shape. We'll talk about all the fingerprints in Module 3. The fingertips will be mainly round or square. Rarely will a surgeon have pointed fingertips or spatulate. A psychotherapist uses communication to heal and will be expected to have a water hand or air hand, so a long palm with long fingers or a square palm with long fingers, especially the mercury finger. The tip of the mercury finger will have a slight kink, showing the ability to communicate in a healing way, and the fingerprint on that finger should be a whorl or a loop. The fingertips will be round, showing an open mind. Here we have the medical stigmata, which are lines that are vertical on the mount of mercury. They strengthen the qualities of what the mount represents, which shows an aptitude for communication in a therapeutic manner. These lines can appear when the use of communication is very strong, often seen on the hands of teachers, writers, doctors, nurses, and parents, etc. So a nurse will have the practical and grounded shaped hand of earth or fire. In all of these, the mount of Venus should be nicely rounded. It should show the energy available for giving. The well-developed mount of Mercury will have several vertical lines. These medical stigmata, without these, they may be in it just for the money. A ring of Solomon, which is like a line running horizontally across the mount of Jupiter, is also common because it depicts an understanding of people. A line of intuition, which is a line that runs from the base of Mercury around to the mount of Moon, is rare, but it is a sign of someone with excellent gut instincts. The mount of Moon itself should also be well developed. The fingertips are mainly round or conic. The skin texture also depends on the occupation. Water hands will often have silky or soft skin, and the fire and air and earth types will have average skin. Very rare to have anyone with coarse skin to have healing ability. Sportsperson or athlete. If sporting ability is visible from the hands, there should be evidence of physical energy and motivation. The shape of the hand that's most suited would be earth or fire hand, because the water hand, being narrow and long, shows too much weakness, and the air hand shows a little bit more mental energy rather than physical energy. The mounts will be firm and springy with medium to coarse skin. The thumb will be extended with the first phalange equal length or longer than the second, showing great willpower. Most of the fingertips will be spatulate, depicting vitality and some obsessive qualities. Square tips show someone practical and genuine about their sport. The fingers will often be slim or have vast spaces at the base, such as this image to the right. The inner and outer mounts of Mars should be well developed, displaying courage. If you remember, the inner Mars is this area near the thumb, and the outer Mars is the middle of the palm on the outside edge. The mount of Venus will also have to be large, suggesting someone with get up and go. A line of Mars running parallel on the inside of the lifeline also gives extra dynamism. There goes my inability to pronounce words. A line which runs here alongside the lifeline is a line of Mars. A simian line is common in athletes, conveying single-mindedness. Now, the simian line is this line that runs across. It's by itself. There's no separate headline or heart line. Teaching ability. A long Mercury finger shows someone articulate and adept in all forms of communication. To have teaching ability, you would obviously require good communication skills and a desire for sharing that knowledge. The shape of the hand that may fall into this category is the air and fire hand. The air hand type will quickly deliver their information through the ability to articulate their know-how patiently because of the long fingers. With the long, slim fingers of the air hand, they will have a caring nature. The person with the fire hand with the shorter fingers may use unique or unfamiliar methods of teaching to keep the students interested and eager to learn. The thumb should be sturdy and long, preferably wasted. A weak thumb will show a lack of command or control over the students. An extended Mercury finger shows the ability to communicate well. And the headline will be long and gently curved with a fork at its end. The mount of Jupiter may have a line formation called the teacher's square on it, which we will go into in all the lines. A ring of Solomon, we will also talk about that. That helps because it depicts an ability to understand people. The skin is usually soft and the nails are wide, square or rectangle. The salesman or businessman. The air hand would go well with a businessman and a fire-shaped would be appropriate for the salesman. Richard Branson, while he's not really called a salesman, he is a businessman. He's also a self-made millionaire. And he has the first three fingers almost the same length as each other, and they're all long, with an extended thumb. This type of person would show signs on their hands of someone who's a risk taker, but also signs of intelligence. The traits to look for in a good salesman or businessman is a long finger of Mercury, revealing a convincing talker, and a long Saturn finger showing the ability to think quickly. An extended Apollo finger shows a risk taker. The flexible thumb tip with an extended second phalange will give more persuasive powers in a non-aggressive way. If you remember back to the lessons about the thumb, a stiff, rigid thumb shows someone more inflexible, and a flexible thumb, which bends backwards, is less aggressive and much more flexible in their character. Being a salesman in one field of work where bent or crooked fingers are acceptable because they may need to bend the truth a little in order to make a sale. Knotty fingers display a shrewd mind, often seen on businessmen, and smooth fingers will reveal someone with a quick mind. Here is an example reading. The conic shaped tip, which is slightly goes inwards just a little bit, shows someone sensitive but with a flexible mind. This is a hand of an artist, by the way. It is a water combination fire hand, whereas the fingers are not really that long, but it is a narrow looking hand. So the thumb shows a balanced willpower and logic are approximately equally long. Apollo finger, that appears slightly bony. You can see the knuckle protruding there. So that suggests one who's concerned with details. Every brush and stroke will matter. A long top phalange on the Mercury finger shows someone who is witty, articulate, and quick-minded, and an intuitive personality with good expression. An average length Mercury that reaches up to the top crease of the Apollo finger. A spatula tip on the fingertip is there's a slight indentation there, and it sort of goes out a little bit. That is a slightly spatulate Apollo finger showing a strong interest in the arts. The Saturn finger is straight, average length and shape that shows honesty and responsibility. Here is another example reading. This is a female entrepreneur who's also a mother. The first thing that stands out to me in this hand is that there is a small Apollo finger. It looks much shorter than the rest. So the small Apollo finger shows someone assertive and ambitious with a serious outlook on life. There is a history of neglecting, avoiding, or lack of power to achieve self-satisfaction in life or happiness in marriage. With the Saturn curving towards the Apollo finger, you can see it has much more strength. It shows a history of uncertainty, depression or reserved emotions. Family duty and responsibilities have impeded creative achievements, which is probably why the Apollo is narrow and short, because they've had so much responsibility. With the Jupiter curving towards Saturn, it shows someone self-assertive, hardworking, but emotionally secretive. So we have a large, thick thumb that shows strength, leadership, and staying power. These people are not easily influenced by others, but they are bossy, they are sensible and realistic. With the thick fingers in general, apart from the Apollo, it shows someone honest and down to earth. They're physically and mentally robust, blunt, straightforward, and inelegant in their manner. They could be an authoritarian. The large mount of Moon and Pluto shows someone who's nurturing and creative, imaginative, intuitive, and sensitive. These people will be in touch with their nature and the subconscious. The thumb is held a bit close to the palm. It's not low set and open wide. So it shows someone secretive with a less open mind, and they are set in their ways. They're probably physically strong. With a curve away from the fingers, the generous and enthusiasm and enjoyment of life shows by that. The Mercury finger is low set. You can see it comes down a little bit. It's not hugely low set, but a little bit. So that shows someone who is creative and a private person. They may have difficulty communicating or in confidence. There may be a history of hardship as well. That concludes Lesson 12. It is the end of Module 1. Thank you very much, and I'll see you later.